Greetings to you, my beautiful West End family. It is my joy to greet you in the middle of the week and to share a special word of hope and to share a few announcements with you in the middle of the week. You may be wondering where I am. I'm actually in a treehouse. Well, it's not really a treehouse because it's not in a tree. It's a freestanding structure in our backyard that a cousin of mine built for us years ago when our kids were little. Our kids stopped playing in it years ago, but during this COVID pandemic, it's turned into another office space for David and me to use from time to time. And I thought I would greet you from this space today because the weather's cool and there are no mosquitoes biting right now. I hope that as we come to this midpoint in the week, that you're feeling God's presence with you. And I wanted to share just a couple of announcements with you and a word of encouragement. The main thing I wanted to share was how wonderful it was to worship with folks in the sanctuary on Sunday morning. It was a tremendous blessing to have many of you present in the sanctuary to sing together. Everyone wore our masks and we remained socially distant and we kept everything as safe as we possibly could, and that did not hinder our hearts from worshiping. As I shared with the folks who gathered, we had to wear masks on our faces, but our hearts do not wear masks, and we really felt the presence of the Spirit with us. There are lots of spaces available for this Sunday, so I want to encourage those of you who would like to come to in-person worship to go ahead and register. I've had some conversations with some of you recently about in-person worship and how you want to come, but you don't want to take someone else's seat. And I would just encourage you to go ahead and register, and if we reach the maximum and have overflow, we can create a waiting list. We can put folks up in the theater or in McWhorter Hall, but we haven't bumped up against those maximum numbers yet, so we look forward to seeing you if you're able to be there. And for those of you who at this time are choosing not to come to in-person worship for safety and health reasons, I want you to know that we absolutely support you in that decision, and we hope that the live stream worship experience continues to be meaningful and that you feel the Spirit of Christ in that experience of worship and connecting us in Zoom Bible studies and small group meetings, and that you're also finding ways to connect with others and to experience the love of God out in nature and many other ways. Speaking of nature, this afternoon in our staff meeting, Brandon led us in devotional time, and he read to us a poem by a poet named Maggie Smith, not the actress Maggie Smith, but the poet Maggie Smith. And she wrote a poem that's spoken in the voice of a young mother who's walking through the park carrying her infant child and pointing out different things that are beautiful in the park. And the last line of the poem really struck me. I wanted to share it with you. The last line is, "I'm desperate for you to love the world because I brought you here." And in that last line, I heard not only the voice of a young mother with her child, but the voice of God, who created us and created this world and wants us desperately to love this world. Things are hard right now in our world. There's more news of storms hitting the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic coast. Fires are still burning out west. Our nation is bitterly divided politically. We just got news today, and I'm speaking to you on Tuesday, actually, recording this video, but that the number of coronavirus deaths in the United States has risen above 200,000. And that is reason to lament and to mourn. And we all carry the pain of the news of our world right now. And yet this poem reminds us, the scriptures reminds us, worship reminds us that God is a God of love. And God created the world and called it good. And God loves this world just as it is. And God is always working to return this world to the way God meant for it to be, to reconcile all things to God's self. And we get to be part of that work. And so I would encourage you today to remember John 3:16, that God so loved the world, and that you hear that good news that God so loves you and so calls you to love the world as God does. May you experience the love of God this day, and may the peace of Christ be with you.